the Underdogs podcast. It's your host T. Lee and my co-host Jock Calvin. The most known unknown will realize.
Was pulling up, they acting like they couldn't see me. Now she wanna clean me up like a squeegee. I told her that's on me, baby, like yellow BZ. With the peanut butter and tear like a Reese.
Everybody's plotting on their downfall and maybe not expecting them to win, but they come out on top anyway.
They don't forget the underdog when they see me. I hit them with the John Cena, they can't see me.
We're gonna work hard. We're gonna stay dedicated. We're gonna be motivated.
I don't know. Being an underdog is probably more of a compliment for me.
Out of sight, out of mind. All I'm saying, just be careful who you idolize. I'm kicking this scripture just before the fame. Ain't no cap in my words, I go against the grain.
If you move like keeping it peach and keeping it real, like that's an underdog.
Surpass those long expectations. You're able to keep going no matter what.
You want to keep setting an example for people to follow. So the underdog isn't the loser.
Underdog is really honing in on your talents, dog. Don't let the compliments get you high.
But as an underdog, all you got is you. That's when you at your peers. You have to go through that phase so that you can be prepared for what's coming your way.
Yo, what it do, good people? It's your host Fleetwood. It's a late show, but you know how we do it, man. We gonna get it done. Let's do it like night, man, for real. But this is season 7, episode 5, Soulful Soundwaves, the spiritual connection behind every note, featuring independent recording artist, herbalist, chef, martial artist. We have Na'im Ah-Zeez on today. Before I bring him on, man, we gotta let you know what's going on too. It's the brother right here.
If it hurts and it's painful, know that love is around like an angel, steady down after heart, then the brain go, bathe in sound, wipe you down, now you can glow. I know you wanna think about love, so go ahead and think what you want. You're dreaming while you lay on your love. You're the way, baby. Your love, don't cry.
What's up? What's up? Can you hear me okay? Everything good?
Yo, peace, God, what's good, brother?
Peace, peace. Good to see you. It's good to be with you today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's an honor to have you on, man. Like I say, man, when we crossed paths, I was like, yo, definitely gotta tap in, man. Like, just the energy and the frequency, everything, bro. Like how everything aligned that night, bro. Like how you basically, use your voice to control the sound waves and the frequency of the room, man. Like that was amazing, bro. Like as an artist, hearing that pure raw vocal, bro, no beat, like, yeah, that was everything, bro.
Yeah, man. I thank you. I appreciate it. I really love doing a cappella things. And I sing in choir coming up. So whenever I have the opportunity to sing in a style that's reminiscent um or that can well, yeah, reminiscent's a good word, to my choral days. Um I take the opportunity to do it. So yeah, appreciate it. And I'm glad you felt it too, because it's,
Yeah,
I put a lot into my art, and I put a lot into, the purity of my being, and being able to make sure that I can communicate clearly what it is that I'm experiencing. So the fact that it's felt, and it inspired you to invite me here, is an honor in itself. So I appreciate it.
right, brother. So let's start by having you introduce yourself, like who is, Na'im Ah-Zeez, and what would you want people to know about you, at this stage in your journey?
Well, okay, cool. Yeah, I like art. I sing, and I exist really to help everybody. You know, I like to imagine that I'm helping everybody walk home, or like walking everybody home in a way, with my songs and with my contribution to the world. Um, I feel like music is the gift and the beauty that I have to share with everyone. And so the way in my worldview, it's my purpose to share the gifts that I have and to organize my life in such a way where the gifts that I have to share, my innate talents, are the primary driving force of my life. And so in my journey to do that with my art and with my singing, um, I invite everyone into my world, and I hope that the pieces of my journey, the little bits of wisdom that I've picked up along the way, um, can help you in your life, can help you through the pain that you experience, can celebrate with you when you're celebrating your wins, and can be part of the experience that you call life. So, I'm just here to put my ripples in the pool, dog. Really,
Facts,
that's
man.
it.
And I feel like, like like you say, man, our existence, man, is really is just once you find self and find purpose, bro, it's like you really get more attached to knowing like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and really, doing it and understand that it has to be done, especially when it comes to others.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if your closest friends or family were to describe you in 3 words, what do you think they'll say about
Closest friends and family, they probably say loving, smart, foolish.
you? Okay, man. So let's talk about, when you walk in the room, say you walk in a room full of strangers or so. Uh, like what kind of energy or vibe do you feel you bring in the room with you with your presence?
Um, I don't know. I think I've thought about this too much to actually have a clear view on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the what I get from a lot of people is that a lot of folks feel uplifted for my presence. Some can feel overwhelmed by my presence actually. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten that feedback from a while, but people generally think that or experience me as like a radiant person, and as giving of my presence and my energy in a positive way, which is beautiful because that's what I intend to do. But yeah, like I intend to bring, lightness and upliftment to every space that I'm in, to whether it's through humor, whether it's just through, just the energy in the room, the vibe. I like to play frequencies. I like to, I've been known to just like burn incense and stick them in my backpack and walk down the street. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, I just like to bring, you know, uh, a sense of wholeness, a sense of fullness, a sense of grounded presence wherever I go.
Nah, that's facts, bro. Like I say, dude, my experience, bro, is definitely an uplifting feeling, especially like being an artist. It's like feeling the energy, bro, from like I say, the performance and everything, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's the impression, the thing you give out, bro. Like, you give that feeling like, man, sometimes like, definitely.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. I appreciate that.
So
Feels
let's
good to be
uh,
here to see you.
grew up, man, and how did your hometown shape the person you are today? Like, what stands out, about your upbringing? Like, how do you think it influences, like your work now?
At the beginning of the question, it cut out a little bit. You said, "What about my hometown?"
Uh, how did it shape the person you are today? Do you feel like even though you move on and you grow in other areas, but the foundation of where you're from, like, how do you feel that kind of shapes you?
Oh, that's a good question. I was born in St. Louis, and
Mm-hmm.
I've moved around quite a bit, and so I've lived all around the world, and I used to move almost every 2 years.
Mm,
So I literally, I literally don't have that experience.
that's
But
interesting.
what my forming childhood experiences of being on the road,
Yeah.
what that has done for me, or what moving a lot has done for me,
Mm-hmm.
has I've created, well, it's created this interesting experience emotionally for me where I'm always away from someone that I love, because there's always somebody that I love somewhere in the world. which is a beautiful thing, but then it's also simultaneously like a painful thing. Um, but then at the same time, I have a deep, deep appreciation for the physical presence of people because being on the road and only seeing people sometimes, you come to value when you can give folks a hug, so that's very, very important to me. And so I think also in this world of like kind of like digital everything now, I still value person to person connection
Thank
even
you.
more so. So and this is like actually one of the first times I've done something like this relative to music, which is funny because it kind of goes in along with my whole theme and my preference for life, which is I'm always talking to people, I'm always in their face, and I'm enjoying and and living my life and feeling free connecting with people in person, always in person, always in person, always going to meet a person. And so it's just funny to see how that trend continues even when I don't intend it to, and then how like the new things that come up like this event um are like differentiations from my primary pattern. Like this is not the way that I would approach it, but this is also something that's like popular right now, which is funny, like because it makes me kind of like opposite and against the grain in that way.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Nah, I definitely feel that, man. Because like this, it just gives me like, okay, when it comes to the internet, it's like, okay, I'm gonna use it for what it's intended for, like to be able to reach people from all over and everything.
True, true, true,
For
true.
the most part, though, like I'm more like in person too. Like I don't really like to like that's my field. Like personal interactions, you feel people energy, the vibes, and you can connect a little bit more than just like. So it's like it's a red and blue pill with it, but to be honest, on the other side, I like being out and about.
Absolutely.
All right, because the air, that I grew up in was like, we was basically when the internet was coming about, so it's like we got the feeling of real time, in person, and actual relationships and stuff.
Mhm, mhm,
Then
mhm.
now here there's internet, and it's like, well, I'm just glad that like coming up in that era, I know what it's like to steal because I didn't lose those values. Because that means a lot. Like when you're in person with people, the connections online is cool and everything too, but you have to get out and about, get outside. Like that's
Absolutely,
a big part of
absolutely.
your identity. I feel it's not the identity in the virtual space. The identity I feel is when you're out and you found self and you're actually outside to connect and feel the energy.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's still very important,
yeah.
and I think that in this era that can be undervalued because
Mm,
of there's so many new online spaces to connect. But I feel like the great and the legendary artists of our time will understand how to utilize both virtual and in-person spaces excellently
yeah,
and like use them to support each other. Um,
yeah. That's exactly what I'm on, man. It's just understanding it. Like I understand both spaces, and it's just like the internet can drive you down the air, but it's like when you connected with self, you really don't. It really don't take you that far down. Versus what a person feel like
true, true, true.
this is the only thing that I can like, basically how I capitalize or use to my advantage. And it's like, I'm just really just going both lanes with it, man, to be honest. But I was like, the virtual space did open up a lot of opportunities, both
Hmm.
in person and in online. So it's like, okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I figured out how to use it, and it fit
for
both
sure.
sides. But it took a while, man, like doing back and forth. But it was like if I didn't do this, the doors probably wouldn't have opened on that other end, or it probably would have in a different space, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, man. So you mentioned growing up in with both African American and Liberian roots. So how did those two cultures shape your perspective on life and more specifically in your creative thing?
Okay, well that's a good question. All right, so like Liberia. is an interesting place.
Mm,
Um, we have a mix of different people, and to save you a bunch of it, to save you a bunch of details and history and story. I come from a group of people who were never conquered or enslaved. So we don't fit the narrative of the average person in the, say the average quote unquote black person in the West.
yeah.
And that the mentality of people who have never been colonized and like fought and lived is completely different. Like the way that we view ourselves, the way that we move in the world, the way that we interact with people is completely different than those of us who have been through the trauma of enslavement and colonization. Because it's something, because it's something that you know that happened, but it didn't necessarily happen to you. And then, but interestingly enough, being a person of mixed lineage, I'm able to use the perspective of the parts of my lineage that did not, you know, essentially succumb to slavery or colonialism, um, to kind of heal and like retrain the parts of myself that I did inherit that are traumatized from that experience. So it's like there's actually a beautiful mixing of those things. And I feel like for a long time, it took me a while to fit in American society, and to find my place in this, in where I fit in amongst people here because of the mix of my value systems, and the different parts of my perspective and the different parts of my worldview. But I think that it's given me the access to, almost every realm of society here, like being from both worlds, like having an indigenous African um, lineage, being connected to that, and also being a quote unquote Black American, like that, that those those two lineages, and I would honestly really say indigenous American at this point, but like that's,
Yeah.
but that comes from a different perspective than like the people who are like Moorish and that whatever. But also that's all that has some validity. But I would say that because like the people of the Americas, like we're our own thing,
Mm-hmm.
because the culture is different here. The way that we move here is different, and then the way that we show brotherhood and we show love here is different. Like, and it's unique to this place. Whereas, the different forms of connectivity and brotherhood and love and togetherness are different in other places. And I feel like that must be honored, even though it's kind of this like ramshackle thing that's been put together,
Yeah.
and almost it's kind of like we kind of just like found our way, but it's in and of itself a unique way. And I feel that because I share both lineages, it allows me to, to have the best of both worlds, to have the best of being a black man in America and to have the best of being an indigenous to a man in the world, and knowing that I'm nature and knowing that I'm the hood too. Like that's dope,
Nah, facts, man.
uh so
Yeah, I feel like it's a big identity crisis on the land of where we at now in America. I
mhm,
feel like it's a big identity crisis because it's like I look at it more like it's a group of people that's like when it's like your identity's kind of been taken, it's more like you trying to figure out who you are, and it's a bunch of chaos around that. And yeah, that's why I'm so big on people knowing thyself. Like, really know who you are, not just go with the narrative of who they tell you are. That's a sense of programming. It's like you got to think for yourself. At the end of it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I see like a cultural thing. It's just like when your identity's been stripped and you're given this narrative, and then everybody just goes with that narrative. But it's just like it's like a red and blue pill, man, in a way. Because, like I say, the togetherness and the unity is everything. But it's just trying to get everybody, on the same page, to kind of move as one.
yeah. And that's the beauty and that's the challenge of the work that we've got right now. Like once you are really in tune, right? And once you recognize that you're dealing with self, then the beauty of the puzzle, the beauty of the game of life is then how are we going to come together? And where, where can I be positioned in the, in my piece of the chessboard of life to
Mm.
come together with the pieces that I'm around, and how can I work best with my environment to to see what I want to see in the world and to have the experiences I want to have in the world. So yeah, man, like, and I think that's the fun of it, and there's no real like straight answer because every situation is unique, every scenario is unique, every life is unique. So, like I think that's why community and brotherhood and coming together and our communion is important so we can talk about the different facets of the experience so that when we come across our unique scenarios, our challenges, our wins, that we handle them well, up or down, big or small.
That's that, man. So, who would you say had the most profound impact on shaping who you are today, whether as an artist, healer, or just a person?
The most person who had the profound impact on me today. Um,
You are to think.
that's a lot of people, bro.
Mm. All
That's
right,
like
so all right,
that's a lot of people, but let me try to narrow it down.
so significant though, like where it's like you had this experience. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of experiences because you've been around the world.
Mhm.
Like, what's that one that always stands out to you, no matter where you at?
I think I grew up in the Nation of Islam, and I came up really close to Minister Farrakhan. Like he was like my grandpa's friend, and I'm really inspired by the way that he speaks to people. And I think to this day, Michael Jackson moves people, in an inspirational way. Like, we've seen the old tapes of Michael and people he walks out, people be fainting, and like that's just, and that's something that I've always aspired to. But also in the same vein, right? Maybe a different quality. Minister Louis Farrakhan, like he ignites a fire in people. He inspires them to their betterness. He inspires them to their wellness, to their greatness, to their expansion. And I think that's a really powerful gift, and in my life and in my journey and in the things that I do, I feel like I want to emulate that, that powerful inspiration, that powerful, push towards the best of what you are, of what I am, of what we all are, and to be a consistent, you know, like kind of funny, silly, and very well developed personality with a few choice words and notable laughter towards the best of what we are. So like and I think yeah, maybe Minister Louis Farrakhan, interestingly enough, probably would be the greatest in terms of a personality. Maybe not maybe not all of the ways and the ways that he went about running his ship, right, and doing his thing, but definitely in his effect, in the way that he affected the people and the people that know and love the minister. Like if you've ever been to the Nation of Islam gatherings and seen him speak to a crowd and the way that the crowd moves and responds to his charisma and magnetism, it's phenomenal. And it's something that, I wish to give to people, that same level of fire, that inspiration, that almost like courageous um showmanship almost. It's really interesting. His gift of oration. But yeah, so that orative gift I think is the most influential. And it influences a lot of what I do.
You said a lot, man. Because like I said, Minister Farrakhan, like you definitely one of those powerful ones. Like you just said with Michael Jackson was the same, like that influence and that power, you know, like just their existence alone, like just lasted so much to impact people like over time. You know,
Hmm.
that type of impact. Nah, that's it. So you spoken about the spiritual connection behind your music, like when did spirituality first intersect with the artist and how does it shape the music you create today?
Well, that's interesting. Like, that's an interesting perspective. That's an interesting question because for me, like music and spirituality are the same thing. Like one doesn't happen without the other. And I knew from a very early age that like music was something that is like given to me from God. Like music is my gift that I get from living an aligned life, and because I take the time to make honest choices, to be disciplined, to be steadfast in certain regards of my life in terms of the way that I'm dedicated, to the many disciplines that I hold to. That the gift of that discipline is the ability to sing, you know, and to move people and the accolades that come with that. The societal gift, the notoriety that comes with that. So to me, the journey in music is the spiritual journey, right? And so because I've never seen it another way, it's only unfolded for me in that way. Whereas, certain people, I mean, not everybody has that perspective, right? And so there are certain options that people would take, not having that perspective about what music is, right? And what it allows you to do and what role it plays. Like if you didn't share that perspective, then certain choices in the music industry that are offered to one may be more attractive to you or may be more attractive to someone else because they don't hold that perspective. And so it's I think that like seeing that has influenced my music from the very beginning and has influenced even kind of this like breaking the wall commentary that happens sometimes when I rap about how we make choices in our life and the choices that we make in our life affect us and the people around us very deeply, and it's like a deep spiritual thing like music, and especially with music too. Like I know like I've experienced some weird things where like I've written songs and then later lived them and then can only really attest to the power of music being something that even though humans connect with it and dance with it, it's not something that belongs to us fully. It's something that transmits through us.
Mm,
And so with that awareness, at least to me, it can only be spiritual, it can only be prayer, it can only be reverent. And to do it any other way is to misuse the power of music and is to use music outside of its design. Music is reverence. Music is the exaltation. Music is the celebration of life. It's the dancing of the frequencies that exist. You know what I'm saying? So like to me, it just makes sense. It's just like this is what it is. And so all of my music is now, the celebration, the exaltation of my life. And then even in the sad times, like it's not just all like happy music. Even in the sad times, it's the ability to be like, yo, like this is painful, this is heart-wrenching, this is soul crushing, but I'm alive still, and I'm here still, and I'm breathing, and something beautiful can come of this. So it's like, okay. Um, so yeah, so it's always been there. So in short, yeah, it's always been there. And it amazes me. It's actually amazing to me that's not people's perspective. But that's my own challenge in and of itself. It's because I live in the world, and we see what the world is today. You know what I'm saying? We see where music is at today,
yeah,
and the popular world and all the things. So
yeah. That's what I feel like. That's why I say again, but life before these platforms and everything, you definitely seen a shift in the world. It's like it
hmm
brought everything that was there, but nobody paid attention to it, put it on the forefront. Like I was saying, say politics or whatever. Like, soon as all that happened, how much division it did to people and everything. The very next day, you seen people ranting and going crazy, and I'm like, I'm literally seeing people that I would not be looking for in life, like literally just the frequency and the energy they was putting out, man. It's like that's what it looked like to me. Now, like now, it's an open portal where it's like, all right, you can use it for the networking and build a relationship, but then the other side of it, it's like a rotten fruit. Is like it also puts the other things in front of you too. That, like I say, you wouldn't be aligned with or look for real. But
Yeah. And it's like being discerning and knowing how to sift through
yeah,
with your attention and what you feed into,
mm,
what you get in your life. It's like, okay, yeah, I could spend some time looking at something I don't like, or like something that fills me with anger or a sense of frustration,
you got
and then like get upset and make an angry comment. Or I could use that same energy, that same time, that same 10 minutes or 20 minutes to look at something that fills me with a sense of hope, a sense of wonder, a sense of joy, a sense of like willpower and determination to get things done. And then go out and use that emotional energy and apply it to somewhere in my life, whether or not I leave an inspired comment, or maybe just take some time to reflect on the beauty that I'm experiencing in my life, or write a poem or a song or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yo, like it's just about what we choose to do with our energy and our attention,
yeah, you got
and we have to.
have strength, man. Like you
Yeah,
got to be a strong individual. So like I say, it's a open, it's wide open. It's no longer
yeah,
like back then before you'll have stuff censored and not really put on the forefront. Now it's like the gates open, the flood's open. So it's just like
yeah, yeah, and everything's here. Yeah. So yeah, so it's like, okay, cool. Where will I pay attention? Where will I move? How will I move? Who will I give my energy to?
that part, man. That's
Yeah.
real. Like, yeah, yeah. Like, you don't want to attach yourself to something that's gonna drain the battery. Like need something that's gonna just add on or give something to me, some type of substance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh, so your music incorporates healing frequencies. As we were just discussing, like how did you first become aware of the power of sound frequencies and what role do they play in the energy of music conveyed?
Okay, cool. That's a good question. All right, so like I discovered cymatics when I was like early 20s, late teens, like 19, 20. And I discovered it just like, digging around on YouTube. I was one of the people at the beginning of YouTube, like when YouTube first came out,
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
around, just around learning. And I use YouTube for like I wanted to learn all of like the secret, esoteric, mystical knowledge stuff. So I would like be watching different quote unquote spiritual videos or just esoteric knowledge, things about yoga and qigong and the secret, anything that had like the secrets of the universe labeled on that shit. At a certain point I probably seen that shit, seen it, watched the whole thing, or seen a piece of it somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Like so during that time I watched this video about sound frequencies, and how certain frequencies, when you play those frequencies through a metal board with sand on it, that they would turn the sand into different sacred geometric symbols and shapes. And that was interesting to me. And I was like, oh, and that was the beginning of my understanding of cymatics. And that understanding of cymatics moved into radionics. And that brought me into scalar. And so once I recognized what scalar was and how to use it, relative to music, it just seemed obvious to encode the scalar frequencies in the music that I make and provide an opportunity for people to experience scalar frequency through my music, because it just made the most sense. It's like, music has been the thing that's been most healing for me, and it's been my guiding light in the world. And so then to have music that actually has measurable healing frequencies in it, that seems to me that that's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know what I'm saying? That's just what that's just, yeah, that's just love. That's just the extra sauce on it. And then like And then from my perspective, I'm like, who's doing that? Like nobody's really doing that. And like I have my own unique sound. I have my swag. Like I got my own lane.
Yes.
And like I got measurable healing frequencies coming out my shit, bro. Like it's just me over here for real. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I love it. I love that for me. Like I really love it for me. So it just seemed like the cool thing to do, the on brand thing to do. Um and yeah, like it has been it's just like the I think it's like the evolution of my passion of healing. You
Mm,
know, when I first got into music, I got into herbalism and frequency healing and all of that because I noticed that one, musicians we kind of like to party. We like drugs a little bit too, a little bit more than the average group of people. And we tend to die from our overindulgence in things. So I wanted to figure out how to live in a healthy way and still be an artist, right? And have my health and my music at the same time instead of like
mm,
my music and the destruction of my, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. So that, so having my music and my health at the same time, having music with scalar frequencies in it is just literally that idea. That's an all in one. That's my music and my health at the same time. You know, so it's doing both. Like, yeah,
mm.
you know. So
That's like you giving yourself a dose of dopamine, basically. Like you say, like in a healthier way. You know, using the music to do it rather than like you say, indulge in certain things as an artist. You know, like nah, that's definitely it right there.
yeah, man. Yeah. Because I want to be alive to make great songs. And I want to be alive to see the impact of the songs that I make on the world. And and that takes time. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you release, especially in this world, like in this day and age, it's not you release the album and then boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes time for an impact to be made to people to really hear a great voice and to really respond to profound words and profound sounds. Um, So yeah, man, like I'm really curious about the journey. I'm just excited to see what comes at this point, bro. Like I'm just curious to see what all of this shit right now
Yeah,
ends up where it takes me, bro. Like really, like where's it gonna take me? Like where am I gonna go? Like
bro,
it's
you
too
doing
there,
great.
like it's too many things, bro. Like it's too many things, like
Yeah,
I
that's
hope I
dope.
do some dope shit like Nas and get like an honorary PhD or some shit, at the end of my life for just being dope and on time long enough. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, man, you speaking fast, bro. Because like I say, you got in the artistry you have, bro, and just hearing that, like, yeah, I could definitely see that, man. Like, it's just more so just keep putting it out in the universe, man. The universe gonna bring it around for sure. It needs it, and where we at right now needs the healing, man. 'Cause like you said, a lot has changed from what it was. Um, especially with the music, man.
Appreciate it.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
so how do you choose the specific frequencies used in your song? Can you explain how like those frequencies support the listener's mind, body, and spirit?
Okay, yeah. So all right. So scalar frequencies are essentially the energy of the sun and the stars, or it's the basic or primordial life force energy instructions for the building blocks of matter. So, for example, if I take a scalar frequency, if I'm playing the scalar frequency of like a grape, right? And I hit you with the scalar frequency of a grape, then what's going to happen to your body is that your body is going to start to create the phytonutrition, all the phytochemicals that grapes have, and then start digesting that nutrition. Um, Really cool. So if I beam some vitamins at you, you would start making the vitamins, digesting the vitamins. If I like beamed, the frequency of wellness at you, well, that's broad, but if like for example, like you had a cold and I was playing like a wellness frequency or like an anti-cold frequency or antiviral frequency, it could shatter viruses, it could shatter the bacteria, right? And create a state of wellness. So the frequency that I have a custom healing program that is that is like 10 days long, roughly 10 days. And so it plays healing frequencies back to back that I specifically programmed
Mm-hmm.
in a custom order. And it's a span of different things: smart dust detox, chemtrail detox, EMF detox, heavy metal detox,
Yeah, I'm
all
familiar.
of the vitamins, the Schumann resonance, the different, if you understand Chinese medicine, the different meridians, and like the specific the frequencies for the health of each specific organ system, long hair, shiny skin, cysts, yeah, a bunch of different varieties of cancers, a bunch of different varieties of bacteria. I think I said bacteria, viruses, other forms
Mm-hmm.
of germs. Different, things like typhoid. Because if you traveling and doing different things like that, COVID-19, what I'm saying, all the things, everything that I could think of, I put it on the list. We run in the detox, we run in the healing, Bach flower essences for mental and emotional health, L-glutamine, NAD, DNA support, like eye health, breathing support, all the things, every gut health, parasite cleanse, all of it, bro. So, and I've so the symbol that I have, my logo, the logo that's like on my thing, my signal, it's been embedded with the scalar frequency. So whenever the symbol is wherever the symbol is drawn, the scalar frequencies from my device emanate, and then whenever my music is played, the frequencies from my device emanate, as well as the art that I create on my website. I do hoodies and t-shirt, and then it has all of my album art on it. All of the images that I sell are also scalar images. So the healing frequencies that I play, that program that I play, emanates from the images as well. So yeah,
Okay, man. Hey, I definitely gotta tap in with that, man. Like, yeah, that's important.
yeah. And the way that that's done is that I either draw the picture of the images, right? I either draw the images and put it on my scalar plate, or I will take a small copy of the images on the scalar plate, um, and then I'll set it on there, and it's now infused, or it's now encoded. So yeah, it's really cool, and it works on the properties of resonance. So all the images, all the hoodies there at the shop, all the images there have the healing frequencies beaming at all times. I'm running the program all day. So yeah, feel free to shop with me, vibe with me, connect and get educated, like let me know if you got any questions about Scalar, shoot me a DM, I'll do a workshop for you. If you need too much of my time, you're gonna have to pay me. So make sure you come with a budget. But
That,
yeah, it's all good.
you just dropped a lot, man. But yeah, I definitely have to tap in with the frequencies, man. Like when you said that, like it made me think about the sound bowls, right? Is it
Yeah,
sound bowls? Yeah, that stuff is powerful, man. Like, yeah, I need to that 2025. I definitely gonna be in like my schedule of making sure that I do that at least. I don't like at least if I can do it every day, like to end the day off with or start the day or something like that. Like that's very important, bro. Yeah.
hell yeah. And moving into 2025, I'm gonna start doing like an event where people can just come and like share space with me. Maybe just like chop it up in my house. Just do like kickbacks, and we
Yeah.
just hang out and just have conversation and just have community connection. Um,
Say that person to person thing, man. Like it's everything, man. Like
mhm.
for real, that's how you grow together. When it's like you exchanging information, everybody is vibing off good energy. It brings the best of us out ourselves when we're around other people that's great. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So, as someone who channels energy through music, how do you ensure that that energy you put in your art remains positive and healing for both you and your audience?
That's a good, great. Not even good, but a great question. By doing my inner work, by meeting my emotions fully and integrating the wisdom that comes from them, and making sure that before I do anything in the world, that my internal space is as clear as it can possibly be, on any given day. And that changes from moment to moment and day to day because I go through things, and that's life. However, I make sure that my motivations and my intentions are very clear before I start anything. My new relationships, new songs, new ideas. And even if the intention is just that I want to see what's within me, I want to see what I want to bring that out. But that's that intention. It's not, there's never a there's never ambiguity when I make music. It's always to express myself in my fullest in whichever way is most fun for me today. And making sure that whenever I create, that intention remains, right? And building consistency and momentum by staying connected to the principles that fuel the things that I do. Um, and so that way I'm always able to deliver pure energy, even when I'm not doing my best, even when I'm in the middle of my personal storms, that my energy is still pure because it's what I am right now. It's where I am right now,
Yeah.
you know, and it's me doing my best to hold it all right now at all times. And so, hey, if even if my voice cracked, then it's still real. Look, it's still real. Right? Look, that's just what it was today. So,
Right, man. So, like I say, you mentioned like music can be a powerful form of healing. So in what ways do you think music can raise consciousness or help guide people through difficult moments?
okay, well, yeah, all right. So, like, musicians are really interesting. Well, music is really interesting because it's one of the things that takes both sides of our brain to process fully. So, musicians are naturally, and some musicians know this and are dicks to people about it, but music is something that works both sides of your brain
Mm,
all the time. So music with a healthy, with a healthy regimen of other source materials and things that you're learning can directly increase your intelligence. It's like directly tied to increased intelligence. So in music being, the positive thing, and I think I lost your question there for a second, but you said what did you say again?
so like you mentioned it can be a powerful form of healing, and like in what ways do you think music can raise consciousness or help guide people
Oh
through
yeah, so
difficult
yeah,
moments?
by raising consciousness, it literally makes you smarter. So first and foremost, by doing music, you become a smarter person, and your
Mm,
brain becomes more able to hold information and like process information. So that's one thing. And another thing is that like by participating in music, people into people enter altered states of consciousness, whether they you know participate in, mood or mind altering substances or not, the experiences of music itself induces an altered state of consciousness. And utilizing altered states of consciousness for innovative thinking and problem solving is an age old human strategy. So people who utilize music in their problem solving toolbox, people who actively engage in music as a lifestyle, have a very unique way of solving problems and assessing situations because of what they participate in consistently. And by being continuously open to new ideas and novel ways of solving problems, one can say that you're more likely to catch, a wave or a gust of higher consciousness in a state of being open, in creative openness or creative flow than you would be in another state. It's just being more creatively receptive. So you could say that by, participating in music because you're often in a creative, receptive mode, that you're more likely to embody or engage in higher conscious thought, feelings, actions, and behaviors because you spend time close to it. You know what I'm saying? Because higher conscious thought is can be looked at as one as the same as like free creative roaming or free creative expression. Um, then as music can also hold coded information. So you could have some like deep conscious wisdom that is like beyond words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like deep in the fabric of human understanding. And you could use words to transmit that information. And because the tools that we use for listening are one part physical and one part metaphysical, you could trans you could transmit that metaphysical information as well as the physical information with the sound waves. So if you're like metaphysically powerful enough and aware enough, you can communicate way more than just the lyrics that you're singing in songs. And I mean any real great musician knows, understands that and does that well consistently. You know what I'm saying? They're not just singing the lyrics. They're singing their experiences into your mind. Like great musicians, when you hear their songs, we have full bodied nervous system responses. Like we're in our whole different world
Yeah.
listening to a good song. So you can take that experience and take somebody to a whole different conscious plane of awareness. You feel me? Take them into an evolutionary experience through sound if you're good enough, or if you're clever enough, or if you're dedicated enough to have those experiences with people and to share the and to craft and share those experiences with people. So yeah, I mean, music. I feel like music is the key vehicle. Like music, I think would be the universe's premier and primary vehicle for higher conscious experiences. You know, saying that like in the tools of things that one would use to go into higher conscious realms, music would be the first thing to use. Like we gonna do it with music and some other things. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Like as an artist too, like I be feeling like it'd be like some type of download when I'm creating in a sense. Like while I'm in that creative space, sometimes I don't even be realizing like how I even came up with certain things. It just comes to me. Like,
hmm
yeah, that's I be thinking about stuff like that because I'm like literally I be like I don't know where it came from. I just feel it, it came. Like,
Yeah, it just can't. It just comes through. Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
I remember I did an interview with a guy. He's a cold MC. Uh, and he was saying like he don't write stuff down. He goes directly from like he don't take it from like okay you get the download, then you write it, and then you put it in the microphone. Like he
hmm
read out. He said he just translated directly from source into the microphone.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that, I was like, that made me think about it. I was like, yeah, you're right. Cause it's like, when you think about it, it's like, can you remember where you even got that from? Cause you was like, I was like, I'm a writer. So I receive the information, I put it down, then I take it from my device and then I transmit it out.
hmm
Cause I was like freestyling and I was like, I think too much. Like I got too many thoughts. So it's not gonna flow the way I would want it to, versus writing. But he thought I was like, yeah, that did make me think about it because I never paid attention to it. But when he broke it down like that, I was like, yeah, I didn't even notice that. Like really, I was like, yeah, I
Yeah,
just be feeling like I get downloads because I be in another space, like of thinking, you know.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's another space. It's completely different. It's a completely different state of consciousness than like what we use to like have this conversation
Right.
or to drive a car or to make even what like to even like like hold other conversations. You know what I'm saying? Or do like day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely different state of mind, completely different state of being.
Right, man. And like, yeah, it's just like, and I also feel it too in a sense. Like even when I'm recording, I feel a certain type of energy come out. Like I feel higher, you know.
Yeah,
When I explain, like I feel real, either the frequency from the beat, but then when I'm actually putting it out, it feel like magic, literally. Like I'm
yeah,
creating.
yeah, yeah. It feels like for me, yeah, it feels like I'm expanding in my body. Like it feels like
Yeah,
more of myself is becoming present in the world, or like my nervous system is growing, or something like that.
like
Like I can feel more things. Yeah,
yeah, I figured you understand that. Like being a creative, like I'm like, okay, we the ones that can kind of understand that, you know, because I'm like, I know I'm not the only one that feels it.
yeah. Not at all, bro. Not at all. Yeah, like it's a very beautiful thing that we have the ability to do. You know, my friend was talking to me and she was saying that people who make music experience a different afterlife than people who don't, because like the songs that we make become worlds that we get to live in once we die. And like
Yeah,
if we make enough, essentially if we make enough songs, the songs that we make becomes our own world, and we get to live there essentially after we pass on, or when we pass on, instead of just like, it's one of the places that we have access to go. But like it's really cool. It's really cool to
yeah,
think about it that way.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've thought about that, like
yeah,
recently, like yeah. So everything that I'm doing is like it's something left behind. So it's not sense like I'm left behind. I'm in the moment still. Like you cut the
yeah,
song on, I'm here with you right now. Like
yeah. Right now, yeah.
really.
And you want to run it back, and I'm right there. You know what I'm saying? As long as you want to, for as long as you want to sit with me, you
As
know.
long as
So
you see my videos, I'm right there. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So talk about the life changing experience and growth too. So I read that you said you physically died 9 times in his life. Uh there must have been like transformative experiences. Like can you walk us through like one or two of those moments? Like how did
Yeah, okay. So when I was a kid, I used to have asthma attacks. So I remember one time, I think the one that sticks out of my most, I was like watching Johnny Quest with my mom late night, and we were over my my aunt's house, and she fell asleep, and we were like sleeping on the floor, because it was like the holiday time, and when my family is all together, we all like sleep all in the same space. It's like cool.
yeah.
Um, And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I can't breathe. And I wake up my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I can't breathe. And she's like, Serious? And I'm like, Yeah, like I can't breathe. And then like I'm like really calm because like I tried to stay calm because I recognized like I couldn't breathe all the way and like open my chest up. And so she rushes me to the hospital. I'm like, Mom, I want to run. I want to run. I keep telling her that I want to run. And then like I like die essentially.
Mm,
And then I like flatline, and then they throw me in an ice bath, and then like I'm in an ice bath and I come to like 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 ice bath like afterward, and I think I'm not sure if they resuscitated me, if they shocked me that time, but yeah, like I got resuscitated. I came to in an ice bath, and then I was okay, but that's one of many times that that I've had that experience. And it's cool because I used to always say that I was going to the other side and getting information and bringing it back,
mm,
and that was kind of like like my young test, as a young one. And then as I matured, that stopped happening,
yeah.
but I had a lot of little asthma attacks and things like that coming up where I would just be out for a minute.
Uh, so like speaking of like those experiences early on and where you're at now, like how did that like change the way like you view life, death, and spirit? Like, do it feel like it gave you a sense of purpose or understanding of the world?
Yeah, like it makes me, I don't fear death. Like I understand that death is something that you can't rush, even if you want to. It's like you're not like literally like you're not gonna die until it's time for you to die. And like that's something that people don't understand. So to live in fear of death is foolish because you're only going to die when it's time for you to die. And before then, no matter how many times you go to kick it on the other side, you're not staying there until it's your time to go, until it's your time to go. Like it just doesn't work like that. Um, and so that makes me kind of a little weird, in terms of the Western perspective. but then also it gives me like a connection with all things and recognizing that like the other side is not really it's not really gone. You know, it's just different. It's like all of the worlds, all of the layers of life, all of the worlds of the universe are like overlapped, you know? And so you're never ever really anywhere but here, but just from a different perspective. And so part of my music is I sing about like the other side because it's some place that we're all people are curious about it because we're physical, right? And it's just, you know, like it's just one of those things that I have because I died a lot when I was a kid. I have information about. And I'm kind of at peace with death and dying. Like I'm not afraid of it. Like people are like, aren't you like afraid for your life? I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not. I really am not. When it's time for me to die, I'm gonna be gone, and until then, I'm gonna be here. So I know
Yeah.
that. I know that. Like I know that for a fact. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna be here, and yeah, like it's just there's that level of I guess fearlessness to when I move. Would you call that fearlessness? I mean, you could call that stupidity, maybe. I don't know. Courage, foolishness. You know, in some languages, that's the same word. So who knows?
Nah, facts, man. And let's talk about like, the volunteering and service. Like you create a safe spaces and helping provide food to communities. Like, how did you get involved in that work and what impact did it have on you personally?
Oh yeah. So when I was in the Bay Area, I lived in the Bay Area, and I had a few roommates, and we're like, "Yo, what is something dope that we could do for the community?"
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, "Yo, like we could have like an open mic circle and just, like invite people, see if like the local neighborhoods want to sponsor it, and we could just come, have songs, share, be together, and just live life, and just have fun and just do cool things." And so that's what it became. That's so we went around to local restaurants. We invited our community members. We got a whole bunch of restaurants that donated food, and I'm gonna bring this back. I'm gonna bring this to Atlanta actually.
Mm.
Um, and we're just gonna have a community connection with a bunch of donated food, a bunch of donated things, and it's just gonna be great. So um, that was like a very profound experience, like extremely profound experience because I recognized like how much like money influences the way that people connect and to how much value a space where you don't have to pay to sit down and get a plate influences the way that people connect, you know? It's so beautiful and it's so wonderful to see how we all intermingle like that. And so um yeah, I'm just thinking about how, how like I don't know, like just how warm it felt to be in the room with everybody just eating and chilling, and it's just a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Just vibing, like and like wow, like now that I'm thinking of it, like I have to bring it to Atlanta, like, and that's something. Yeah, I really have to bring that energy to Atlanta because I feel like that's what's missing, and so like we really found in the experience of doing that that people love to do it, like people want to support that. All the local business owners, the local restaurants, they're like, yeah, like I love y'all. Like, absolutely. Like whenever y'all want food, we'll donate all of our food to you. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like whatever. So, yeah, I wanna get involved and do that.
Most definitely, man. Will we see that maybe probably you think 2025 somewhere?
Yeah, we're gonna see it 2025. I'm gonna look after this conversation. I'm gonna get on the phone this week and see what I can pull together. And have a community connection and just have community connection events where we do that.
That's
Yeah.
important, man. Community is everything, especially like you say, it's more of what can you do to make a difference, more so like I'm not really one of the ones that like point the finger and just like sit back and just talk about it. If it bothers me, if it's something that I feel like I can make an improvement to, like I'm gonna just do it. Like I'm not gonna make it random about it or anything. Like I tell people, change the narrative. Like if you gonna change the narrative, if not, don't really speak upon it like that. If you're not gonna help the cause, you know.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah.
Um, so with you being all around the world, like you traveled 26 countries and five continents, can you share one of the most transformative experiences you had while traveling? Like, was there a particular place that shifted your perspective on life?
Okay, so I mean, Africa, hands down. Like being in Africa
Mm-hmm.
was one of the most amazing things, like in seeing. Because like, okay, so one, I have an issue with that word, first and foremost. Like because Africa is not a word that the people who live in the place that's called Africa gave that land.
Thank you.
So
You.
that's not, I don't think that that's a valid, because the people of that land don't agree to that term.
Yeah.
I don't as- I don't think that it's right to call us that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there needs to be a unanimous renaming of the land called Africa. So that's just one thing.
That's the
And
colonized, right?
but with that, I think it's also, I've had the most profound experiences there because they're the most ancient places in the world are there. The most like the birthplace of humanity is there. The birthplace of human life is there. And to see like the ones who've been doing it the longest, what I'm saying, the ones who've been holding it down, in when it comes to the legacy of humanity the longest, and to see that they're all people who are like me, who look like me, who speak like me, who think similarly to me, who interact with me with a sense of love and care and curiosity. When they find out that I'm from America, they're like, why do you have so strong African features and
Mm-hmm.
you're an American? Like, what is this? It's like it feels like a coming home of sorts. In America, being dark skinned, being melanated, there can be a sense of isolation that we have even amongst each other. But in Africa, and in the land named Africa, that doesn't exist. What I'm saying? That sense of isolation, that sense of separateness, it doesn't exist. It's like not there. And I wish everybody, especially my brothers who grew up in the West, that experience. Like where that you're held. Like, where that you're okay. Like if you couldn't get home, somebody would get you home. If you lost your way, somebody would help you find your way home. Like, and to really understand that, like, you're held, like you're supported, like you're loved. Like it's not like, yes, dog eat dog shit exists, but that's not all there is out here. And to really see and feel and experience that, in Africa, brought reminded me to bring a completely different energy to the world when I got back to America. So yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Yeah. And like I really knew, like, because once you see Africa, like, can't nobody tell you shit about black people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can't nobody, like, racism doesn't work on one of us who, once you've seen the majesty of our people, once you, and especially me, like knowing that, like, I come from people that were never conquered or colonized. Like there's, what I'm saying, I'm not inferior to anything ever, and I never will be. Like that, the idea of my inferiority is a laughable concept to me, honestly. Look, you feel me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
no. Look, so I want that profound experience for every black man, for every one of us who grew up in the West, in America, in Europe, because I feel like that is what's necessary to really bring us in. You know what I'm saying? To really bring us home, like really within ourselves.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Man, I always say like when it comes to America, like I'm glad you even said that about Africa too, because I'm like that's just the colonizers' way of what they call the land. But I'm like,
Yeah.
actually from there, like I got Nigerian neighbors and stuff, and they tell me like, man, how they really show America over there versus like they do it just. It's like reverse psychology. How growing up, I remember they used to do commercials and only show the poor parts of Africa. Like you
Mhm.
always see the commercials, they show it. Okay,
Mhm.
that in our minds for Black Americans or however well whatever everybody identify with, mostly is black. Which that's another thing. That's a whole another story. 'Cause I'm like black didn't really come about to the '60s. Like the identity has been changed so much on this land with our people here.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
so it's like he's like, yeah, man, they show it like we don't like them. They try to push a narrative or something like that, like we're all crazy and stuff. And he's like, man, how they but he's like when he came over here, he was like, yeah, he's like how they try to I guess paint the picture. I don't know if it's like you say they don't want us to go back or see, whatever, go back to the land or
Yeah. It
I
could be a
always
bunch of things.
say like when you look at it though, like we're all over the world. It's melanated people everywhere.
True. True.
So
Yeah.
like what they do is they try to tell us so much about another land than us focus on what happened on this land, what really happened on this land. And
Mhm.
I did my own research too, man, like for a while. And I started realizing, man, all the paperwork and stuff, and when the government is not even that old, but everything they did on this land was like they told his story, basically their story,
Yeah.
and just
Exactly.
gave
Yeah.
gave us their side of it rather than okay, this is they let us they let them tell us about it instead of us. That's the identity crisis, man. But when I started digging deeper and I started realizing, man, like, nah, this ain't right. And then the documents is actually out there, not just the Google search and all that. Like, I'm reading up on these people and what they did and how they came up with the census and did all the classifications and the whole
Yeah.
system, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. But I always say, like, you got Jamaicans from Jamaica. You got Haitians from Haiti. They all got they know they're original to their land. So it's like we're everywhere in the world. So I'm like, man, something happened on this land, and that's the thing where I'm like, we gotta really figure that part out. Because it's
Yeah.
just it's just the way they painted the narrative and how they continue to try to, I guess, make it seem like they're more inferior and we're not as powerful as we are, but you see everything that's going on, where the power stands at far as uh, inventions, inventors, all type of stuff in our history, you could say. Uh, yeah, man, it's a lot.
Yeah, man. I love how you mention those things because yeah, like the ubiquitous presence of melanated people is something that is kind of suppressed. It's not really talked about directly. And around the world, people who look like us consistently get the short end of the stick. And you have to ask the question why. So I'm glad that you've done your research and you understand that there's more to us than what is projected into the common information pools.
Yeah,
And if you're willing, they I mean the truth is in front of us. Like
yeah.
so
Yeah, man. I just be more so like I think how Dick Gergen said, once you put those glasses on and you see reality for what it is, it's like you can't,
Mhm.
you know. And yeah, man. I put those lenses on, bro. I can't see everything. I see everything for what it is now. No more
Yeah,
like smoking mirrors and everything.
yeah, yeah, you just like okay, cool. Like
Right.
I'm from here. Like
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah. So with martial arts and everything too, man. Like which requires both physical and spiritual focus. Like what drew you to martial arts and how does it shape, the way you approach challenges both internal and external.
Martial arts. I mean. I grew up watching anime, so I always wanted to be Goku. And then
Yeah.
that that kind of just grew over time, I always wanted to be the strongest dude in the world and all this shit, you know what I'm saying? But like martial arts has taught me like discipline and humility, and focus. There's always a better martial artist than you, no matter how good you are. Even the best cats I know, there's always somebody better than them. So that's one thing. But then also like to know my strength, to recognize that, yeah, even though there's always somebody that's better than me, not everybody can knock me down. So also, so also that, and to stand in that, like I'm not just something that'll just be knocked down easily, so that's good, and that's a lesson for as a man, we need to understand when it's appropriate to establish dominance. Like, and because I come from a group of people who, who did that very well, I feel like it's martial arts gives me a space to really flex that energy, that warrior energy, that the part of me that like won't bow down and won't quit, and that, will fight if necessary and just for fun. Um, and it really gives it space, it really gives it space and character and discipline to be great instead of just kind of like wild, and like willy-nilly and all over the place. It really gave it focus and direction. So instead of like a wildfire, I'm more like a blowtorch or a rocket ship, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, it's a good way to put it, man. So, what would you say is the biggest lesson, man? Like you learned about yourself through, your journey in music, wellness, and spiritual practice.
I say the biggest lesson is that I can, like, and no matter what life throws at me, I'm gonna make it through it. Like, actually, like, not none of this shit is actually gonna take me out for real. What? I don't know, like, and it's like weird. It's weird being that confident in yourself because it almost feels delusional. And it feels because when I say it, sometimes it doesn't sound real to me. Like, almost as if it would be healthy if I doubted myself a little bit more and didn't think that things were just going to work out for me all the time. But they do. And it's not saying that they work out the way that I think that they'll work out all the time, right? But it's like having the mindset and having the understanding that in every situation is a gift and there's a lesson and there's a way to benefit from it. So when you take that mindset to every scenario in life, then the only thing that you can do is win. Like you don't really give yourself the option to lose. And I think that that's the key. You know what I'm saying? That mindset is the key because it's not like not everybody wins a Grammy, right? But
Yeah.
you have to know how to take the year and the years that you don't to build yourself. Because if you can't build yourself through challenges, through unmet expectations, then it becomes really, I don't like to say this word, but impossible um, to actually achieve or to actually create motion or to create greatness or to experience the greatness that you have inside of yourself. So,
Yeah, man. I feel that because I always say, man, like in order for the universe to align you with everything that it has for you, you must like put yourself, in motion with whatever you're doing. If it's a craft or
hmm
whatever, like you have to invest your time and continue to work on it, because it's like we all have different. Like that's why I'm not really in competition with others. I'm more in competition with myself. I'm like
hmm
where I used to be, where I'm headed, and me seeing different situations happen from me just I guess not chasing anything, but more so just focusing on my craft and focusing on my gift and passion, you know. And the universe really just was like, okay, like, and not even to mention amongst that timeline, you have life doing what it does. So it's like I'm on a roller
Absolutely.
coaster, When this time when the dip is happening, I have to make sure that I don't throw up on the dip. I got to keep
Exactly. Yeah.
everything together,
Yeah.
you know. So
hmm
until I get off the ride, and everything is cool and it's coaching. But uh, yeah, that's what that showed me a lot with, man. It's just like, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do on my end, the universe gonna drop the GPS coordinates exactly where I need it. You know.
Hmm.
Uh, so man, you had a profound from the journey. Like, if you can go back then when you first started this child, what advice would you give your younger self, and how would it shape the way you move forward?
Okay, what I would advise to give my younger self, I'd be like, yo, trust yourself more. I'd be like, trust yourself more. And even though you feel nervous, nigga, do it. Do that shit. Do that shit because you don't know, like, it's like you don't know who you meet. Like, you really don't know who people are.
That part.
You feel me? Like, you don't. Like, and like, you think, like, and like, it's like this mind-blowing thing. It's like, but like, people come from all over the world to be in cities, to be in places, to do things with their life, right? And the people that you meet in your journey, you never know how the offhanded things that you say affect them. You never know how the love that you have to give will be received by other people. So give that shit. Like, if you see Shorty, talk to her. If you see bro shining, let bro know. Like, don't ever hesitate to give people their flowers. Don't ever hesitate to show somebody some love in this world. Because, like, one, you have it in spades. And two, my nigga, like, that's the best part of life. Like, especially like being like you being the random person that said some really dope shit to a motherfucker that made them continue. Absolutely, my nigga. Like, absolutely. Like, that's really awesome that you can be that and that you can do that for people. So keep doing it. And I love you. And you're probably gonna feel like you're gonna die most of the time, and that's okay. But you're not gonna die, and you're gonna figure this shit out. I love you.
Nah, that's real, bro. Like, especially that part, man. Like, it's okay to clap and be, the biggest supporter to somebody, bro, in that moment. Cause it's like, man, like you say, that one piece of advice for anything I did took them there. Like, I did
Mhm.
that for my word. Like, just making somebody. It's not even. It don't cost nothing to support people
Mhm.
and show love, bro. It
It
don't
don't.
take. It
It
don't take
don't.
nothing out your
It
day.
don't take nothing, bro.
It don't
Not a
take
damn
at
thing.
all. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna
Yeah.
hurt you. You're gonna be fine. You're not gonna sprain your ankle or get an injury out of it. Like, it's okay. And then it's like in the world we in now, it's like, man, that's the most needed thing right now, bro. Because everything is so much division on this land where we at right now. Just
Mhm.
watching that how they do everything and stuff. It's set for individualism and to divide people. Rather than come together. You know, yeah, man. Um, if you could leave a lasting message, with your music or your work in wellness, like, what would it be? Like, what do you want people to take away from your journey? As you mentioned, man, you still gonna be here.
Yeah, I
But
mean, but if I want to be known for something, it's like I want people to be known. I want to be known for encouraging people to be who they are. Or I want to be known for that, to be the voice of people's intuition. It's like, yo, like, follow your own nature. Do what you want to do with your life. Like, life, like this experience that we're experiencing, life in and of itself requires us, like, it's literally like screaming and yelling for us to do the thing that we want to do with our life the most, like the thing that makes us absurdly happy, that we could just do. And actually, it wouldn't matter if any of the shit in our life got handled because we're doing the thing that we love to do. And that we have to kind of like take time away from to be mature and responsible people because we have so much fun doing it. Like, that's the thing that I want you to do, and that I encourage everybody to do. Because in doing that, in providing that energy to the world, that experience to the world every day, everything can be accomplished from there. There's more than enough to go around, you know. And so, yeah, bro, like we have to follow our own nature. Like, We have to do us, and we have to be bold enough and courageous enough to be who we are through opposition. Like just because you are who you are, it doesn't mean people are gonna like you, and
That
it
part.
doesn't mean that and it doesn't mean that the road is gonna be easy because now you are who you are. But like it just means that you just have to keep being that, keep shining, keep glowing, keep radiating, keep emanating. Like it just and just maintain that. So yeah, yo, like that's it, bro. Like from that from and from there everything comes, like from there everything comes. Everything that's ever come to me in life has come from and stayed with me. Everything that's come with me and stayed with me in life has come from the space of my authenticity, and being all of what I am in the moment, you know, flawed or not, what I'm saying? Fucked up or not, wrong or not, what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah.
Nah, facts, man. That's real life, you know. It's just like, bro, this is like I say again, bro, and like the social media and all that, it's like, man, real and raw, uncut, no real or nothing. I'm still me. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
I ain't no 60-second reel where it's all looking good, bro. It get ugly, like. But I channel my energy, bro, and pour it back into my passion, which helps fuel me and brings more. I've learned like to channel my energy, bro, and it brings more to me, in abundance. When I instead of just quitting or giving up or stopping or just dwelling in that moment, bro, it's like it brings the best
Yeah,
out of me just to channel it in a different area and stay over there and not,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
not fall in the quicksand. Like I literally just stay
Absolutely.
over it. uh, so man, what would you say to someone that's just beginning their own path of self discovery? Like what lessons from your own experience would you like to share to help guide them on that journey?
I think the same thing is just follow your own tune.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like because you're gonna learn what you need to learn. You're gonna learn because if you stay focused on being who you are, you're then the only thing that you're really gonna learn is how to be effectively who you are in every scenario in life, which means you're gonna learn how to be effective at the bank. You're gonna be learn how to be effective in the bedroom. You're gonna have to learn how to be effective in the studio, at the gym, at the workplace, and wherever you are in life. So, like, what I'm saying? That's the same message times two. Just do you.
yeah. Nah, facts,
Yeah, family.
that's facts, bro. It's like, yeah, because it's like you say, when you being a better version of yourself, you're not doing it for somebody else, in a sense. Like you're not allowing outside sources of energy to control, like, you know, and I feel like that's what the confusing be with some individuals flocking with the crowd. It's like it's gonna get tiring and wear somebody out over time of just doing that because they gotta constantly switch themselves up to be at the tune of somebody else's taste. Um, but yeah, man, facts. But like I say, bro, it was a huge honor to have you on the platform, bro, to share your wisdom and plant your seeds in the garden, bro. I feel like you just got your own big patch of land, bro, and just planted your crops again, and gave wisdom where people can grab and feed on to, that'll help take them along their journey. And like I say, bro, it's definitely an infinite amount of support from us on our end, bro. Um, we also do follow us, and the follow up, I would want to do that. We doing that in person next year, 2025.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, let's do it. I'm
Doing,
here.
we doing sit down interviews, bro. We just actually I did one to end the year off because we on season 7 right now. So
Okay, okay. That's what's
definitely
up.
gonna make that happen, man. And last but not least, man, before I get you out of here, man, the ultimate question I ask everybody: when it comes to the word underdog, like, what do you feel or think when you hear the word, or what does it mean to you?
Oh, the underdog. Okay, yeah, I like that. Underdog means the person that society or the common mind or the group doesn't really look at as the winner, but but holds, I don't know, either one of the keys to victory or holds like the heart of the people. Because when you look at the underdog, especially, in the Western ideology, the underdog is always the person who rises above the adversity. The person who, may not at first glance look like they're built for the fight, right? Or built for the adversity, but really is the one that holds the capacity to completely overcome it. So, yeah, that's the underdogs, that's in a nutshell, I feel like covers it.
Thanks, brother. I say, man, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you tapping in with the late night show, man.
Yeah, getting sleepy out here, it's just a bit
Man,
late, so a little bit after midnight now. I think my phone's about to die too, so if I go out,
man.
it'll just go out. But yeah, man, I love tapping in with you. Love being part of it. Thank you for, having me out here. Thank you for letting me speak, talk my 2 cents, share my mind and my story,
The story and
and
the journey is everything, brother. That's
yeah,
how we teach one. It's a circle of life, bro. So that's how we continue to improve. I just sold my own gems up, bro. I be literally over here just taking in all the gems from each guest that come, and when they, while I'm giving they flowers, I'm here receiving the same, information and get my own energy to mold and craft, to make myself better. Cause I'm still sculpting, bro. Like I'm still sculpting every day. I'm working on
yes,
my
sir.
myself. Uh, but yeah, man, this is season 7, episode 5, Soulful Soundwaves, the spiritual connection behind every note. Featuring independent reporter artist, herbalist, chef, monster artist, Na'im Ah-Zeez. Make sure y'all follow him on Instagram and everything, man. I'm gonna tap in with you, brother. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your night, man. And we gonna talk soon, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, we out of here.
Gold mouth, rabbit on my teeth, I got carrots. Open up her mouth and she got vocals sound like Janet. Marble on the floors, but the kitchen kinda granite. Lean color perk, you would think it's pomegranate. I see flying saucers finna roll another planet. It will fall in place if it's meant to be organic. I got crazy lingo, you would think I'm speaking Spanish. I'm something like a pie, never leave without the cannon.
I'm enlightened, check, I got stones around my neck. If you pay attention, I teach her how to earn respect. I walk around with a tag like I'm mad at the rail. People do any damn thing for a check. So what if you got signed labels, throw them on the shelf? I don't ask for help, I just go within myself. Hard times I prevail, I bust up out my shell. I let my nuts hang, cause it don't got no curfew.
Gold mouth,